Hello and welcome to uh, our workshop called Mind Your Magnetic Message. Before I go on further, let me tell you briefly about how I came to know Lindy. So first time I heard her in YouTube, and I was really mesmerized by how she spoke. And then few days later, I saw her speaking in my other club, that is Intercontinental Toastmasters Club, that is in District 101. And since then, I know her, and she has been always helpful, and she helped me grow in my Toastmaster journey by giving me small tips about how to develop a speech. She has been like a mentor to me, and her tips are so effective that people who know me as all feel the growth in the way I deliver a speech. So before uh, any further delay, let me welcome Lindy MacLaine, who has been four-time district champion on international speech contest, three-time semi-finalist, and she was the second runner-up in 2020 uh, World Championship of public speaking. So please give a big round of applause to Lindy MacLaine.
Thank you all so much. And I'm going to ask you if you can possibly come on camera to do that. If you are unable to, I understand, but please do be with me. Otherwise, it will, I appreciate that very much. First, let me ask you a question. What would you do if you had a formula for creating a great speech every time? I'm watching Taylor Conroy's presentation about his highly paid speaker program. He draws this outline of an emotional journey of a great speech. I get so excited. I know how to do this already. I've learned it intuitively through competing in the international speech contest over and over. Maybe there's real hope that I can become a paid speaker in the real world. You see, I've begun to doubt myself. I've been teaching these intimate, intensive classes about finding your magnetic message and turning it into a keynote. And I've taught 3 8-week classes, 6 students each. I feel great about uncovering their magnetic message. I use handprints. I decode the map leading to their message, but the keynotes my students have created have been, well, average at best. Not only am I disappointed for them, I feel terrible for me because I feel I've let them down. What if I really can't help them? What if I can't help them to shine their magnetic message into the world the way that I dream of? What if I'm headed for yet another failure? But now, Taylor shows up with these 7 steps to a standing ovation. After seeing his speech map, which looks like this, and I'm going to go through it with you in a minute, I sign on the dotted line. I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I've already learned all about that speech map. It's not that the information is new, really. It's directly related to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and maybe you've seen Alexandre Matt's wonderful performance of how to do that. But this is explained to me in a way that I really understand. Now I can use it to craft great speeches. I can see what I did wrong, well, not wrong, but what I could have improved in my semifinal speech this year. Even better, I can teach it to others. Now, be sure to get a pen and paper. You're going to want to take notes about this because I want to tell you about these 7 steps to a standing ovation. I don't have a handout, not today, so that's why I'm asking you to take notes. Okay, imagine being handed this 7-step formula. It's a map to writing a great speech every time. And if I can do it, so can you. Are you ready? Now we'll work together to mine it. All right. This line in the middle is the emotional journey. Excuse me. This line in the middle is emotional neutral. This is where we start. We start with the hook. Then we go to the up story. The people's moods, people are laughing like crazy. They're having a great time. And then we go to the down story and they plummet down here and then they're in tears or feeling badly. And then we go on the journey and they begin to come back up. We make the main point. And we talk about the audience impact, how this applies to everyone who's watching. And we come to the close where we bring it all back down, we bring it all home, and we leave it there. Now I'm going to go back over it and we're going to work on it together. We're going to work to mine your magnetic message and write your great speech, because these are our 7 steps to a standing ovation. And I mean that. Okay. Now we're going to work on this in a particular order. But first, there's a question that changes everything. And I want you to do this meditation with me for a moment. If you would all just close your eyes. Does everybody have something to write with, first of all? Yes, I'm all set? Okay, thanks. Okay, everyone just close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And let the day drop away while I bring mine to a start. Whether you're sitting or standing, just feel the ground underneath your feet. It's as if there are roots growing out of the bottom of your feet and out of your tailbone into the earth. Then from the top of your head, imagine that you can stretch up a loop and connect with Source, whatever you call that, God, Spirit, universe. And on another deep breath, just drop from your head down into your heart. And we're just going to decrease the ego to about 3% so that we don't have that voice that's talking at us over and over, again and again. All right. Now bring your life as it currently is into your mind. Now, there's an area in life, because you are human, where you are struggling more than the other places. Maybe it's with your relationship. Maybe it's at work, with your boss, with somebody. Maybe it's wishing that your work were going differently or that you were doing different work. Maybe it's something altogether different. It does not matter what it is, and it doesn't matter if it's large or small. Just take note of what that is. Now think to yourself, because this is the question that changes everything. What is the message in order for me to go forward and to overcome the challenge that I'm facing? What is the message I need to hear? What is the message I need to hear? Just relax and let it come to you. You're having trouble, just drop from your head into your heart again. It's a message of wisdom, of encouragement. It's simple, it's direct, but it's going to help you face the challenge that you are currently facing. All right. Does everybody have that? Does anyone need more time? Raise your hand if you need more time. Okay. And again, I'm going to ask you to come on camera if you can. We're going to work through the points in this order. We're going to start with, I've got the wrong one. I'm going to hold up this one that doesn't have all the writing on it for you. We're starting with the main point. Let me bring the picture back. The main point. That's here. The main point is the message that you have for the audience. And in Toastmasters, in contests, we often call that a foundational phrase. And ideally, it's 10 words or less. 10 words or less. So take a look at that message that you've written for yourself. If it's a couple of sentences, look at how can you bring it down to just 10 words or less. Some examples, a couple from the International Speech Contest over the years from champions: bend less, pull more, fail forward, the message of my semifinal speech this year was, the only permission you need is your own. We won't get too fancy right now, but devices that can help are making internal rhyme or alliteration, but don't worry about any of that right now. It's just to let you know that those are things that can help make it sticky for people in their heads. Take a step back now. I believe that as human beings, our life starts here and goes here, and we tend to have the same kinds of struggles over and over and over again. We go in a spiral so that we are hopefully advancing and getting better at facing problems. But we tend to spiral around the same kind of issues, whether it is lack of confidence or feeling on the outside, or failure and success, or feeling powerless and learning to gain power, or finding our voice, or expressing ourselves fully. These are human things that go over and over again, or being afraid to speak up for fear of rejection, or losing our deep peace and getting caught in a sense of chaos, or feeling like a deer in the headlights. In other words, as humans, we have things in common, and we have a certain theme, each of us as a person, to the struggles that we face usually. Are any of your heads nodding? Do you notice that? Because it's possible that as you're facing this right now, that it's too fresh to talk about. I encourage you to think back to another time when you were facing a similar problem. So if you are having tension with your spouse, think back. Maybe it was another relationship. Maybe it was just earlier in time, to a time when you had that same kind of tension or the same kind of burden. And what happened at that time? All right, so relax for just a minute. Let's go back to this emotional story, the emotional shape. Why is this important? First of all, how do the audience actually go on this? It's not through your words. It's through you feeling it's through you feeling the story. People are going to laugh and feel joyful if you're smiling and feeling joyful. People are going to feel sad if you're feeling sad. So it's in the story and in how the story makes you feel. If you want the audience to feel a story at a 10 out of 10, you have to feel at a 12 out of 10. This first up story is so that people forget that they're watching us talk, so that they're not, oh, no, okay, here's another talk. When you tell them a story that's upbeat, they're going to forget. They're going to be, oh yeah, they're going to get excited. This down story, they're really with you. And that down story is what motivates them to be willing to change, because they feel it themselves in their own body. The journey, you're taking them out of that. So let's start back here. I told you we were going to work on these points out of order. Okay, so we've got the main point. That's that message that you want to give to yourself. I need some sense that you've got something. Can you raise your hand if you've got a message for yourself? Yes. Good. I see that. Mohini, do you need more time with that message?
Yeah. I think I have a message, but I'm not ready.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to be ready. I don't want to be leaving you way behind and making you feel like, what is she talking about? So I needed to ask a little bit. All right, so let's keep going. Leaving that main point, and as best as you have it right now, let's move on to the down story. Now let's go ahead and back up and do some brainstorming. So you may need a new piece of paper. All right. I want you on your sheet of paper to put 4 circles. Sad, mad, unfair, and fail. Sad, mad, or angry, unfair, and fail. I'm going to give you a few minutes, and what I want you to do is just think. Now, don't worry about how it fits with your main point right now. I just want you to brainstorm. Just think of stories that bring on that emotion for you. And just make a couple of words so that you know what you're talking about. Sad, you know, I think of the time when I was in junior high and I came home with my report card and my brother came home with his, and he was so excited because he'd gotten an A. And then I showed my parents that I'd gotten an A+, and my brother just wilted, and I felt terrible. I was so sad because I certainly never wanted to outshine him. So that's one example, right? So just make a note of different ones, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes. So just go ahead and think of as many stories that relate to each of these as you can. Just jot them down. We're going to take 3 minutes, and I'm going to time it. Okay, stop for now. That was 3 minutes. Now, some of those stories that you came up with are going to have nothing to do with the message that you gave, but you'll be surprised at how many may have something to do. So now you're going to want to keep this sheet with those ideas because those are gold for you. Now, again, the down story, the up story gets people to forget that they're watching a talk. The down story lights a fire under them to be able to act differently. This down story is the inciting incident, the one that sets you off on the path of transformation. That's the journey. That is the next thing. And the journey is what we're going to work on next. So you've got your main point. We just brainstormed some down stories, and the journey is next. The journey looks like this. And for a contest speech, really you want no more than 3. Contest speeches are so short. Okay, when you're giving your keynote, you'll have room for more steps of transformation. But right now, don't worry about it. Right now, just do what you know the steps will be. And if you have to imagine, if you're like, okay, well, I haven't done it differently yet, then imagine for now. Just imagine, what will you start to do differently with that wise phrase, with that advice? What are the things that will begin to go differently? Maybe you'll be making decisions with more confidence. Maybe you'll be saying yes to yourself more often. You know, these are the things. So write down a few of the things. I'm going to give you a couple minutes for that. Okay. Now we're going to brainstorm about the up story, just like we did about the down story. So on a piece of paper, I want you to put 4 words. Happy, excited, passionate, and funny. And again, you're brainstorming stories that come to you that make you feel that way. Happy, excited, passionate, funny. There was a summer, my older brother and I were hired by my grandmother to work in a construction yard, to clean the yard. And that was a summer after my parents had split. They got back together later, but right then they were apart. And both of us were under a lot of personal inner stress. But the way that it came out was everything we said to each other was hilarious. It wasn't probably funny, but everything we said to each other, we just started laughing so hard that summer, trying to work, trying to lift I-beams, big metal things. It was ridiculous because we were laughing so hard. Our knees, we had lemonade coming out of our nose. I mean, you know, so that's one memory. Again, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to just pull up any and every story that makes you feel that way that you can think of in your life. Go ahead. And if you don't use it for this speech, you'll have it for the next one. Okay, that's 3 minutes. How many of you remembered something that you'd forgotten? You remember something that you hadn't thought about for a while? Good. Once the wheels get turning, you'll have more and more just kind of pop up, and that's excellent. That up story is the yin to the down story yang. And ideally, we're going to connect them. But, you know, in a longer talk, even if they aren't obviously connected, sometimes you can connect them just with a good transition. Again, the point is getting people take on that emotional journey. If you can make people laugh and then cry and then bring them up and laugh again. Someone once said the shape of a good speech is make them laugh, make them cry, make them laugh, and leave. That's about right for a contest speech. This audience impact is what we work on next. And again, in a contest speech, this is pretty short, but this is where you move from talking about yourself to about the audience. Now, what is the impact for them? Taking the message, how will it change their lives? And again, this is not a long lecture. It's usually a couple of well-placed questions to make them think. How would things be different for them? In too early in the morning, my mind blanked out. What's the name of the fellow who has the contest speech changed by a tire? Can you think of his name?
Prez.
Thank you very much.
Facilitator.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, Prez. So he goes through his hilarious story about changing a tire or having trouble changing his tire and finally getting help to do it. And the message of his is reach out. So he has this moment after he's done it, reach out, and he looks all around the huge auditorium. You know, where do you need to reach out? All of a sudden you can feel the energy shift from his story to our own lives, and we reach inside and start to think about that for ourselves. So jot down just, it's the place where the main point is the thing you need, your audience needs to hear. It's also where you're transmitting this vision. And the audience impact is what that vision will look like for them, okay? The next thing we move to is that first thing, the hook, the opening little hook. And that's usually a sentence. Again, there's two ways that are my favorite ways to open any speech, but especially a contest speech. One is a question, a well-placed question that places them right in the middle of the problem that you're going to solve for them. When was the last time you felt like a failure? Who do you wish that you'd told them you loved them? That's a badly stated question, but something that gets the audience to think, oh, okay, I know what this person's going to be talking about. A question. The other way of opening a hook is a provocative sentence from a story. For instance, here's the opening hook for a woman whose TED Talk. I knew she was the one when she peed all over my shoes. Her talk is about adopting dogs, but you see how that gets your attention right away. What? Story hooks are taken from in the middle of a story. They're not the beginning of a story. They're from at the peak of a story, either the peak of the problem or the peak of the solution. They're just something provocative that takes you into the where you're going in the story. It's like when you're watching the preview of a movie, it's a little scene where you go, oh, okay, I want to see that. And now let's talk just briefly about closes. Remember, close is what's bringing people down to this emotionally neutral line again. You want to bring them back down to neutral because it gives them a place to integrate all that you've just told them. It gives them a place to breathe, gets them ready to get on their feet and give you that standing ovation. There are a couple ways of doing a close. In a contest speech, really the last words you want out of your mouth is the foundational phrase. That's that main point. That's what I recommend for contest. For other speeches, a couple of ways that you can do it. One is a quote that encapsulates your message. For instance, in terms of what I'm talking about today, I could say, ladies and gentlemen, never give a talk this early in the morning. Your brain just isn't firing. Let me see. Okay. In the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you say. They'll forget what you do, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Did you notice that the pace is different? It gets slower, there's more pausing, you're at the center of your screen or center of the stage if you're on stage. You're just bringing it home. So a quote is one way to very effectively do that. And again, you cite it, of course. And the other way is a callback to something that you've said before, like the foundational phrase. And as I said, with a contest speech, you want those words to be the last thing out of your mouth. Don't bury it. Don't say it and then say something else afterwards. Have it be the last thing that you say. The only permission you need is your own. It was mine this last year. Okay. My next thing is to just kind of walk you through how, give you an example of how this goes together. Are you still feeling like you're following me? Are you still following me, or are you? Yes? Okay, at least a couple of you are. Okay, if you need to ask a question right now, go ahead and ask. I don't want to, you're doing okay, Rosemary, okay, good.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So when you told that, like in the close, we can also refer back to a call back to something we have said before. So this does that have to be related to the does that necessarily have to be the main point, or can it be something part of the hook also?
If it's a contest speech, you want it to be the main point because you want them to walk away and remember your main point. As humans, we have amazingly short recall. I can watch a really well done speech, and if they have not repeated the foundational phrase a few times, I'll be, oh, that was such a great speech. What was it about? People really honestly do that. I've seen that in auditoriums before. What was it about? So that's why you don't want to leave any question. You want to have that be the last thing out of your mouth. That doesn't mean that every speech has to end that way, but for a contest speech, that's the most effective way. Okay, and again, remember, this is the reason that you want that foundational phrase to be 10 words or less, so that it's memorable, it's concise, and it's to the point. Okay. Just trying to think I think maybe the most helpful way to give you an example will be, I'm going to show you the contest speech that I did for semifinals. It, to say that it's up story, I didn't have enough of an up story. I had a little bit of one, a little bit of emotional high at the beginning, but not enough. And that's one of the things that I realize now that I have this formula. But I want you to watch it and just watch the emotional journey. And mine goes only up about this much and then down, spends too much time down. And it's possible that my message may not be universal enough, but I'm not sure. I actually was very proud of the speech. So I'll go ahead and show you. Pramatesh, do I need to be co-host to share? No, I can share screen, can't I? Yeah. Let's see. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you.
Lindy MacLaine. Permission. Permission, Lindy MacLaine.
Thank you, contest chair.
You're welcome.
I can fly. Okay, so that was a hook. Was also about all the emotional up story that I have. I'm 11 years old in our school production of J.M. Barrie's classic stage play. I'm having such fun and I feel so alive. Mrs. Christensen, can we do another play? Maybe next year, Lindy. Right now, we need to work on your math. Tomorrow. Who can give me permission? Have you put off till tomorrow what you want to do today? That was a question that was well focused to get people to think about themselves. Now, that could have been my opening line. I opened with the question and then I I opened with the story and then put the question a little later. All that math gets me into a good college, and my grandfather is really proud. Grandpa, is it time for my dream now? Can I study acting? Lindy, why don't you choose something a little more practical? How about languages, like your great-grandfather? In any language, it still means tomorrow. Who can say yes to my dream? I graduate, get a job, get married, get a mortgage, pay my bills. No permission for dreams. None. That sad little voice in the back of my head chants, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. My life is perfectly practical. So practical, I end up as a house cleaner, polishing other people's lives. And that is when the crying starts. One day at work, vacuum cleaner in one hand, half-eaten baked potato in the other. I cannot stop crying. You can almost hear that vacuum cleaner over my wails. Tomorrow will never come. Something has got to change. I sign up for a local acting class and start to feel alive again. The old dream of making it by profession comes roaring back. I am almost 40. It's probably too late to be a professional actor, but I'm going to do it. Graduate school, here I come. I apply and apply and apply, audition, 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 pray and pray and pray. The notification letters arrive and they say, many talented applicants, few positions available. You are not one of them. My heart hears, you're not good enough. You're too old. In the face of the world's suffering, a lost dream is so small. And yet, no matter the cause, a broken heart is still broken. I slide into that black hole of disillusion and despair.
And that's the bottom of the down story.
My friend, Lindy, I am worried about you. Go see this Reiki master. You'll feel better. New Age nonsense. Reiki schmeiki. I go anyway. Laying on my back on the massage table, I think, what a waste of time. My head is cradled in the practitioner's hands, and I cannot explain why, but something happens. It feels like liquid love is pouring over me. My story comes rushing out. The practitioner listens in careful, confidential silence. Exhausted, I'm almost asleep when I hear her say 8 wise words. The only permission you need is your own.
That was the first appearance of the main message. Now, unlike this shape, in a contest speech, often the wisdom needs to appear at the bottom of the down story, because that's, you start to go on your journey as a result of getting that wisdom. One of the tricks is that the wisdom should come from outside of you. You may have to shift your story a little because it might have been something that you feel you learned yourself. Assign that wisdom to a grand person, someone else, a friend, a teacher, a guru. Why? Because when you're giving a speech, if the wisdom comes from you, it can come across like you know better than the audience. Then I figured out this, and so then I started doing my life better because I knew how to do it now. It is just, and also it's a better story device when there's a guide, and there's a guide who appears, a wise guide, like in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi comes with his message for Luke Skywalker. In a contest speech, that wise wisdom is part of what helps launch the journey back.
The only permission I need is my own? Freedom. Responsibility. It's too much to take in. I retreat to my black hole, where I spend many hours escaping by reading. I've always loved stories, even if I can't act them. One day, the book I'm reading is not all that well written, and I think, I could do this. It can't be that hard to write a book. Ha ha. I begin writing. No tomorrow this time. It's not acting. But as author, I get to play every part. In pursuit of a new dream to become a published author, I give myself permission and I join a writers' association where I learn about plot, pacing, stakes, character, conflict, dialogue. In pursuit, I send out query letters and collect rejection letters. Ah! I'd quit, but I'm having such fun and I feel so alive. I'm not going to wait for permission. I'm going to self-publish. I hire an artisan publisher, send her my manuscript, we meet. You wouldn't want to publish this, would you? It's terrible, right? Am I still asking for permission? It's good. There are some things we can fix, but it is good. Oh, we're up at the top here now. Yeah. What dream of yours still waits for? Okay, now this is that question, the audience impact, the part where it turns from me to the audience. Tomorrow, the only permission you need is your own. And if I can give it, so can you. And when you do, it might lead to a book. Whatever your dream is, don't wait for tomorrow. The only permission you need is your own. So you might have noticed the wisdom appeared here, and then it got repeated a couple of times, and then that was the last thing I said. You want to try to put that wisdom in at least 3 times. Well, this is kind of an advanced thing. I'm just trying to get you to cobble something together so that you can have this experience of success. So please don't feel overwhelmed. You're on the way. You're doing great. Now, did watching that help you understand what we're trying to do is about the emotional journey, taking people along and the story? I see 1 thumb up. Okay. Any questions at this point? The next thing is that I give you 5 minutes to work on this outline of your own little speech. Aim for 3 to 4 minutes. If it goes more, it goes more. But just really, just make it really essential. An opening question or line. Make people smile. Take them into the depths of the challenge that you're dealing with. Give them that advice. Take them on the journey of what happens once they have the advice. Ask them how their life will be different if they take the advice. And finish with the advice. I want to give you 5 minutes to work. The question is, do you need a break first? Do you want to take the 5 minutes and then take a break? Do you want to take 10 minutes to work, including a break? What's the best way for you? Let's see, I'll ask Mrinal.
Yes.
What's your opinion? Do you want your 5 minutes to work before a break? Do you want to take a break now? What's best?
So I can break now. So I think the plotting you're talking about, it's all about light force. How you can connect with the emotion, that is important. Connect your own story, that audience can also emotionally connect with you. So that's the message I'm getting from you. And when you close your story, always try to give some advice for the audience so that they can correlate and they can work on that. So
you've got it to work on it. That's great. That's great. So let me tell you what's ahead. So what I want you to work on something so that we can go into breakout rooms and you can give it to each other. Or if we're too short on time, then I'll just ask a couple of you to do it for us all here so that we can all benefit from that experience.
but I want you to have time to work on it because I want you to walk away from here with something that is the basis for your next contest speech. Let me give you 5 minutes to work. And then, let's see. I'm going to contract it so that we can do both. I'm giving you 7 minutes to work and break. So you think while you go pee, and then you write, and then we'll start at 25 minutes. At 5 minutes before the hour, is that where you are? Is that what time it is for you? Okay, that's when we'll start again. I'll be here in the meantime. If you have questions, I'm here, but go ahead and take the time to work and break. And as you write this out, just do it outline form. Don't try to write a whole speech. 1 minute left. Okay. Are you ready? Pramitesh, we have so many who are off camera. I think we'll just stay in this room and have some people do it for us. Is that all right with you? Because this doesn't work very well if you go into breakout rooms and we've got people who are off camera. So Mrinal, I see Mrinal is ready. Let me just get something so I can. All right, Mrinal, let's have what you've got.
Just 30 seconds. 30-second ending. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry.
Nope.
Can I start now? So I'm in sitting position, so I'm not ready with the light. So normally I try to use ring light. So right now I don't have setup because just switch. So do you know what is the value of this note? Yes, you all are right. Just a $2. Just a $2. I never forget on 5th May 1995. Our family saving was just $2, my dear friend. And that day, we are celebrating the birthday of the great poet, author, Nobel, Rabindranath Tagore. And friend, do you know what I did on that day? I sold books, old books, for livelihood for a few days. I never forget the crappy day of my life. I cried a lot. I cried a lot. But on that day, I decided I have to dream big and I have to achieve big, whatever possible way. On small child, I don't know which direction am I. Where I want to reach, I don't have any idea. During school life, I good in studies, but time to take a giant step to the next move. I never travel outside my home state before graduations. And flight is a dream for me. I don't know whether it is possible for me to ride in a flight or not. I don't know. Then I have decided that it's time to move a giant step and take a risk in my life. I have decided to complete my MBA. When I discussed with my friend, Meena, you are doing MBA? Do you know what is the cost fee of MBA? They are laughing at me. Meena, why you are joking here? It should be a reality. Don't joke. Same thing happened with the family and surrounding areas. But I believe in one thing. I need to chase my dreams. I am the boat of my ladder of my success. Nobody can stop me. So with that note, I start my journey towards my next destination, MBA. It's a dream place for me. It's a next destination just waiting for me. I thought after completing our MBA, I must be rocking in the corporate world. I have car, I have good money, nice secretary. But trust me, friends, real life is different than the imaginary world. When I start my first job, I start walking almost 8 to 10 kilometers per day with the weight of 10 kg of bags and scorching heat of 42 degrees centigrade. After walking on 1 month, I was sick. I don't know what happened to me. I'm totally bedridden. Trust me, friends, during that time I did lot of books on failure stories, success story of different person. I never give up. It's time to reinvent myself for the next step. Challenge will be there for forever. If one person can achieve a milestone, then why not me? Then my journey started. Within a span of 2 years of my corporate world, first time I traveled by flights at the age of 25. And I literally cried a lot on that day, but because of emotional feelings. So then I never back to my career. Within a short span of life, I selected one of the top employee performer among 4,000 employees. I am one of them in 40. And same thing repeated year after year. And it's like a drug addicted for me. I'm literally drug addicted for success of my career. I never moved back with the journey of small success. Till now, I almost traveled 12 countries in the world right now. And I travel in flight nowadays is just like at least twice in a week. That's I'm chasing my dream. And now I'm handling a territory of 2,000 kilometers. It's near about almost 1,000 miles. And I interact with many people. Just few months back only, 2 months back only, I got selected Employee of the Year for India among 5,000 employees. So friends, dear Toastmaster and guest, I just want to convey a message with all of you. Such a normal person can achieve in this level. Think of yourself. Think of your talent. Think of your dynamic. What you all can achieve in your life. Dear friends, never stop dreaming. Start your dream. Always have a big target. Focus on your goal. Trust me, friend, if you have a big target, big goal, nobody can stop you. Because one day, whatever dream you are chasing, you may be achieved. It's time to reinvent yourself, friends, and try to reach higher, higher, and higher. And it's time to innovate yourself. Friends, please do it. Do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow and see the difference within you. Back to you.
Thank you so much for being first and stepping in and doing that for us. You brought us on a journey. You opened us up with that great question. The question was a yes or no question. That's one thing I encourage you to shift, to make it an open-ended question. So what, why, when, how, one of those. It's not a yes or no. Then the upstairs, the celebration, I felt that. Then you took us down. You said you cried a lot. You can bring this even more vivid if you bring it the sensory details of the scene. And I'm making this up. Well, I can't make it up. It's you. But what were there something that you smelled? What was the feeling in your body? What was the repeating thought in your head? So we've got like hearing and seeing and smelling. If you can, a couple of the senses will help bring it to life, because rather than talking about I cried a lot, we want to feel what you're feeling so that we're crying a lot, or that you're not, instead of talking about it, you are actually feeling that. Then you took us on that great journey. Again, I would encourage you to have a guide appear rather than you realizing you want to dream big. Every contest person is going to have their own opinion, but for me, my opinion is the thing that you always want to stay with is your emotional truth, but the details of life you can shift to support the story. So maybe your grandmother comes to you and says, Rinal, you're all sad, and she comes to you and says, dream big. Then it's her advice that you're taking as you move forward. Okay, that leaves us with a different feeling, because it leaves you a little more humble, and she's the wise one. Then as you're journeying out, you're taking her advice. And then the final piece of, and I could feel this, your elation while you were flying. That was wonderful for the first time. That was great. You told us your wisdom in about 6 different ways. Choose one and repeat it. If it's dream big, use that. Reinvent yourself. I can't read my own writing. Think of your own talent. Never stop dreaming. Just pick one and use the same way of saying it. That was very clear. Great emotional journey. Thank you for that so much. Appreciate it. And hopefully that gives you something to work on next. Who would like to go next? Jagmohan, are you ready?
Sure, I'll go next. Hello, am I talking to Jagmohan? Yeah, this is Jagmohan here. Sir, we have a very good offer. We want you to have our best credit card. Would you like to buy one? No, of course not. I'm good. Thank you so much. You have a good day. Thank you, sir. Good day. It's quite often aside that morning you receive a call and you're expecting something urgent, but you receive a call from someone sitting in a bank, calling you, making you buy something. And what do we do? Most of the time I've seen people calling, and in fact, they literally want to scold this person on the call. And I started wondering, and I have this question for you. What drives your thoughts? Have you ever wondered why some things are obvious for people that are not so obvious for you? Why you feel comfortable talking to some people randomly, you're meeting randomly. However, talking to them makes you feel so comfortable. It was 9 a.m. in the morning, and this is the first time I took a flight to my Chennai office. I was there at the reception waiting for my boss. I spoke to the receptionist. She said, "Are you Jagmohan?" I said, "Yes. I'm here to meet Mr. Deshmukh." "Oh, let me call him up." She died. "I think you have not recognized me." I said, "What?" Of course, I'm sorry if I missed that." She said, "I'm Lakshmi. I'm the one who booked your tickets to Chennai." I said, "Oh, great to see you in person. Oh, you're coming for the first time?" I said, "Yes." And we had a good chit chat for 5-10 minutes. And they said, "You are here for the first time. Why not have a filter coffee?" I said, "Okay, I don't mind trying coffee for the first time." Suddenly I received a call from my friend. "Hi, Sergi, where are you?" I said, "I'm here at the reception." "Okay, I'm coming downstairs." Lakshmi waved to me, no, say no, we are coming upstairs. I said, "Okay, wait for me. I'm coming upstairs. Let's go to cafeteria. We'll have a filter coffee." "Oh, you want to try one?" I said, "Yes, of course. Why not?" Okay. We went there, and there were 2 queues I could see, and the aroma was of coffee. Coffee was all over the place. It was like You've come to a garden that's full of coffee, and it's kind of a new kind of fragrance for me, at least. And then I see on the left side of the cafeteria, there were two queues, and people were lining up for these two different queues. Of course, they were filter coffees machines, and I noticed that one of the queue was a little longer, while the other coffee machine was not so crowded. And I asked Shri, is it the machine is down? He said, no, I also prefer the first one. I said, how does that make a difference? He said, sir, you won't believe it. It's the same coffee. I said, okay, then what's the difference? He said, it's the filter. Filter is making all the difference. I said, how is that possible? It's the same coffee. He said, you want to try? Give it a try. And we had this big coffee mugs right in front of us. And then after this coffee, my clarity of my thoughts improved much brighter than that. And Sridhar started. He said, and I was constantly thinking about that question. Why people think in a certain way? What drives their thoughts? And he said right at that moment, so it's the filter that makes the difference. I said, how? And then I was able to relate that automatic relate that while I was growing up, I grew up in a family wherein we had a little struggle on day-to-day life situations. These struggles made us think more about the value of money. It made us more mature a little early at my stage. And that way, the way I think about it does not necessarily match the age group I am in. And at the same time, there are people who have been, throughout their life, they have been affluent. And the way they look at money is different. The way they look at people is different. So knowingly and unknowingly, we have been through many filters of stages. What we are today is out of the filters that we have been through. You want to change a person, change the filter. While we talk to each other, while am I talking to my senior, I would apply a different filter. Is my senior, I should be talking in a different way. When I talk to my friend, I apply a different filter. When I talk to my juniors, I apply a different filter. When I'm talking to my kids, there are different filters. When I'm talking to someone from a different religion, creed, caste, I probably apply a different filter. If I'm talking to someone who's not that literate, I might apply a different filter. The tone in my voice might change. And that makes all the difference people have in their mind. So their mind and thoughts are driven by the filters they have been through. And that, my friend, is a very, very important thing to look at. So next time, when you see someone who is behaving erratically, maybe it's not the standard way you think or look at the situations, then understand that they have been through some filters. And those filters can be changed, upgraded. So the way you want things to shape up, just change the filters. And most importantly, awareness of these filters would help you become a better communicator. You will behave in a different manner. You will know why people are, what they do, and how and why actually are they doing it. And that gives you the holistic view of the society we are in. So have a filter coffee in front of you that might spark some new thoughts in your mind and dwell upon it. I might want to emphasize somewhere that filters are but obvious things in our life. Choose your filters correctly. And when you talk to people and when you want to understand them, keep these filters aside so that you have more pouring in. And later you may want to decide and filter out what you want to keep and what you want to keep aside. So that's my wisdom, which I learned, and I want to pass it on to all of you.
Thank you very much, Jagmohan. This was very provocative for the mind. I also loved the sensory details. The smell of coffee was especially rich. The images of the lines of people, which one was longer, and what was going on. You'd have a vivid storytelling sense visually. You also gave the message about 10 different times. And the thing about contest speeches is you want to just be, you want to say it a few times and you just leave it. You don't go on and lecture at all. I'm not saying you were doing that, but it starts to lose effect instead of gaining after a little while. So one I heard that I liked the best was change the person, change the filter. And I liked that the other person you had a guide in there bringing you the wisdom. The thing that you can do more of is more emotional journey, because this is what I didn't feel in your talk was an emotional journey. You mentioned the growing up struggle around money. That might be the down story. So the up story, needs more of a pitch too. It can be short, but perhaps it's a celebration.
Right.
And then the down story, you said that there were struggles day to day. So bring one of them to life for us. I went to bed hungry that night.
Right.
My stomach hurt. I hated watching my little sister who cried herself to sleep. These are very vivid images that help us to feel. And then when you turn the corner and you learn to think differently yourself, then we go on that journey with you. Does that help? Give you a place to start to work next? Excellent. Good. Priyanka, would you like to go?
Okay, I can take a try, even though I haven't prepared it much, just few points here and there. Okay, I will start.
That's fine. And it doesn't need to be long. We're just giving a stab. So go for it.
Yeah. Dreams were floating ahead of in front of my eyes as I walked past the shopping complex near my home, and I walked towards my school. This was me just dreaming and watching, and those flying birds, these ants crawling, and I wasn't in any hurry to reach the school because life was going on now in this moment. So this was me in my early childhood, and as I reached to school, people, the friends, the people that I had, somebody was crying. I was in Montessori, so that was a preschool. So children were then crying, somebody was sobbing, somebody asked for pencil, somebody's snatching others eraser, and all things were going on in the class. But I was just silently watching all of them because I had the question of why, because somewhere it left me wondering what was behind it. So even at the door of my class, some elder of in my school just walked past me, and I just my leg got entangled and I just fell down. I was just a little kid and I didn't cry. I just turned around and looked at him and maybe wondered what made him make me fall down. I just went inside after that. So this was me, that who didn't actually cry for anything, didn't ask for anything. I just distanced with myself from everyone once I was hurt or felt bad about something. So I didn't had many friends in school. So this was a low point, and I was usually, as the teacher taught us, I had more questions about it that were related to my age group and the things that I saw it then. But perhaps the science and the English, they were more oriented as per the syllabus and the course that the children are meant to study at that time. So, so this at this time, Usually I was sad and distanced whenever I came from school, because somewhere it made me feel that nobody is actually relating to what I am like, or what I could not relate to them. So I told my mother that, Mom, that this happened. Somebody took away my pencil. I did not know how to ask for it back or how to fight for it. So she said, well, you should take to yourself as you are. Do what makes you like, what makes you happy. Just don't crib for anything, and just don't shout and fight when you don't want to. Just think over it, but do what you like. Just make yourself happy and comfortable. So this struck a right chord in my life, and many times things happened that were not going very fair, or just went about very fast. So many times, so now to till this date, I have finally, after undergoing courses in microbiology and science side and biomechanics, finally I'm into writing, and I love to write. And well, I'm onto this journey, and I think I have found myself in that. And the way Lindy expressed it, I just noted each of these details, and really, I think that is quite connecting to that. That makes it vivid. The way you describe things, the way you, the smell, the taste, the feeling that goes with an experience that makes it lively. That is the thing that brings it out vividly. I think that has gone very well. Thank you. I just think that this is much.
Thank you, Priyanka. That has lots of potential.
Thank you.
I could see you going to school. I could see you falling down. I could see your struggle. And I loved your guide and your mother's advice to you. Make yourself happy and comfortable. That's a good foundational phrase. So think about that happiness. And you later said that you like to write, but maybe before you went to school, let's see something that's making you happy. I don't know, is it a game? Is it a book? Are you reading? And bring that one thing to life. I'm sitting alone reading my favorite book, and let us feel what it is that you're imagining, that you're a fairy princess or whatever it is. Bring it to life, that one scene. Then you're on your way to school and you end up falling down, or your pencil is taken away. Pick one, just pick one scene, and they stole my pencil. Maybe you're on your way to school and you've got this new pencil that your mother just gave you and you're so proud of it, and then someone steals it. And then you're devastated, right? And you don't know how to fight back. And you go home and you're crying, and then your mom offers you that advice. So then you go back to school the next day, and what's different the next day? You let them take the pencil and you go read. What is it? How is it that you make yourself comfortable? How do you make yourself happy? Doesn't have to be long, but just a few vivid points. But I really love that that foundational phrase, and the imagery is right there. So just keep working on getting us. So those of you who are watching, do you see how being specific helps, and how when you offer several varieties, it actually makes it more confusing and less strong? I see at least one nod. Good. But great start, Priyanka. Thank you for sharing that. Toastmaster Bala, we have a few minutes. Do you want to have a shot?
Sure, Toastmaster Lindy. I'll give it a try. I don't think it's a prepared speech, but whatever I've noted down, I'll just try that. Firstly, I just want to do a quick check. Am I audible? Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you remember your first offer letter? Can you please raise your hands? How many of you remember getting that first offer letter? Believe me, the day I got my first offer letter, that was in 2005, I could not sleep that night. Call it anxiety, call it happiness, call it emotions, whatever. I was not able to sleep that night. Why? Let's go 2 months behind. I was attending my first campus interview that day. And this campus interview happens after 2 rounds. The first round is you go for an aptitude test, then there's a group discussion, and third comes the campus interview. I did well in both the first and second round. Third came the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I was totally nervous. When I went into the interview room, I could hear my heartbeat so loud that I felt the entire college was hearing it. I was shivering, my hands were shivering, my legs were shivering. The interviewer asked me to sit down. I did not know whether to sit or stand, but I just sat down. And they asked a basic question. Bala, can you tell us about yourself? And I said, I am, I am, I am. I could not even say my name. Forget about telling myself. I could not even say my name. First interview. I don't need to tell you the result. Gone. Second, I go again completely nervous. Till that time, I don't know what to say. They ask me something and I'm saying something else. I'm not completely disjointed, completely out of context. Again, this happens. Then the third interview, I do the same. Now I get frustrated with myself. 3 interviews. Because in a college, sometimes you don't get so many campus interviews or so many attempts also. The fourth interview is coming. But before that, I went to my mentor. His name is Dr. Saji. He was the head of marketing in my college. And I said, sir, I'm facing this problem. I'm doing okay, I believe, in aptitude test, group discussions and all. But when it comes to interviews, I am pathetic at it. So he said, Bala, why are you doing good in group discussions? I said, I don't know, sir. And he said, you are being just yourself in group discussions. You put a point, you just defend that point, and you take it forward. In interviews, there are two things. One is you're afraid of failures. Second, you're trying to be someone else. That's why you're failing. Just be yourself. That is the advice he gave me that day. Just be yourself, even in interviews. You say, if you know something, you say that, yes, I know this, and you explain it. If you don't know something, say that I don't know, and move ahead. That was my fourth interview, which I attended with the same attitude of being myself. And ladies and gentlemen, trust me, I got that interview. I cracked it. I got that offer letter. And that's the first offer letter which I got, and I still remember. But I'm just telling you this. After that, I have attended many interviews. I've got many offer letters, but it's not that I have not been rejected after that. I have been rejected. I have been rejected in many interviews after that. But the only thing I have done in life is if I go to an interview, I have just been myself. I've not tried to be someone else. And if a company has selected me and given that offer letter, it is because I have tried to tell them the truth that this is what I know, this is what I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying, whatever you are, whether it's in interview or in real life, just be yourself. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmasters Lindy.
Beautifully done, Toastmaster Bala. Just be yourself. Wonderful foundational phrase, very clear. It was the last thing you said. A little bit too much explaining toward the end. Again, less is more. It's amazing. I encourage you to leave off the ladies and gentlemen. I know that we're taught with honorifics. You will see in contest speeches less and less of honorifics happening at the higher levels. I don't really know the history of it, but you have just a few seconds to grab people's attention, and ladies and gentlemen is not going to do it. I encourage you to jump right into that night. I'm laying there in my bed and I can't sleep. I am so excited. Okay. So bring that scene to life rather than talking about it. Let us feel it, relive it, because this is the key, everyone, for telling stories, is to relive it. Don't retell it, relive it. Because you can't sleep. Then you're on your way to the interview. What will it be like? Let us hear the questions. What will it be like? What will happen? And that was a beautiful moment, the hitting the down story where you couldn't even say your name. That was beautifully done. I really felt that. And your guide, your mentor, and his clear advice was also very vivid and very clear. Just be yourself. Then what happened next? And you can make that even more vivid, what happened next, by taking us to your next interview. You take that breath and you think, oh, this is going to happen again. Because you can have an internal conversation. Is this going to happen again? No, I'm going to just be myself. Hi, I'm, and then you give us the first line of whatever you would say, right? So we get to watch that transformation. Then when you make that about the audience impact, what if you make it even more simple? You just say, what will be possible for you if you just be yourself? And then come back at the end, just be yourself. Beautifully done. Thank you so much. That's really on its way toward being a contest speech. Congratulations. Pramatesh, I know we're at the top of the hour now, so I want to apologize again to everyone for not being here on time. I again have the hours wrong and and I know that you've all stayed extra. Any final questions before I hand it back to Pramatesh?
No, it's all great. I don't have any questions. Thank you so much.
I appreciate each and every one of you and all the effort that you've made. And I hope that this has helped you launch on your way to your next contest speech.
Thank you for coming here.
Minal has raised his hand.
Minal, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for wonderful workshop. So I learned a lot of things regarding how to plotting a speech. So should I maintain this order in all kind of speeches or in specific speeches? And this is one question. And another question, how I think life force play a very important role when you want to connect with the audience. How can I connect with the audience through life force? What are the key components that I need to take care?
Take them on an emotional journey. Even if you're there just to educate someone about a new product, you want to tell a funny story to start with. Then you want to tell them how frustrating it is when you don't have the product that you need. It's through story, through emotion that we connect. That's why no matter what kind of talk it is, if you can take them on this emotional journey before you start educating them, before you start inspiring them, before you start teaching them, you're going to have them in the palm of your hand so that they will do what it is that you want them to do. So no matter what kind of speech, think about this shape before you begin, and I think you'll find you're much more effective.
Thank you.
Back to you, Pramatesh.
Thank you. It was a great session. Thank you. It was a great session, and I learned a lot from this session. It was far more in that I have learned from you in the last couple of years, and it has helped me a lot. And I believe others also were equally feeling that kind of emotion. And I would request everyone to share a line or two as their feedback. Would anyone like to share one line of feedback, one or two lines? Yeah, Priyanka.
This was relatable and eye-opening. When you are able to structure something uncomprehensible, we generally think that speech is something which comes all of a sudden, and there are no specific ways or strategies that we can put in or framework that we can utilize. So now we have a framework, and what we have to do is we just have to align it with the framework and see how it is matching up, and we're good to go. So thank you for bringing it to us.
Yes, Rosemary.
I cannot turn on my camera at the moment. I'm in the Caribbean, District 81. It is now 11 a.m. So, and it is Sunday. I want to tell first members of your club, thank you for getting this wonderful, amazing lady to show me so many things. That a speech is not just written one time, it comes over time. When she showed the sad, happy feeling and those things, have me go back. So if on my downtime, I just write something about feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling emotional, feeling passion, that could be the beginning of a speech. Thank you for that, because sometimes I sit and I want everything to come out now, and it doesn't happen like that. I learned today, though I've been a Toastmaster for a little while, and I always tell people Toastmasters is the best place to be. You learn something new every time. I saw somebody said you're new Toastmaster, just continue in that and you will be amazed at yourself after a while. Thank you again to Lindy and to your club.
Thank you, Rosemary. And to let everyone know, great speeches are not written, they're rewritten. I encourage you always to take your material and work on it again and again. Your job is not to keep your club entertained. It's their job to help you make your material really effective. So bring your speech back again and again and let it get better and better. You will grow quickly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bianca?
Okay, I would like to give the feedback as well. The way you outlined the entire speech is actually very motivating. It actually turns the experience, the life, into a complete vivid movie like that you can imagine and you can feel it and perceive it accurately. I think it was a wonderful I've written, and that is very inspiring for all the future ventures too. Thank you so much.
I know from how late it is that you need to go, so that's fine. Go ahead and you can adjourn the meeting unless you have announcements or whatever, Pramatesh.
Thank you. With this, I thank you all for participating in this wonderful workshop and staying till the end. And thank you. And with this, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you. And thank you, Lindy, once again.
Thank you all for the warm welcome. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to hearing about your successes and seeing them on the contest stage.
Thank you. Good day. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.